Hello everyone and welcome to another Laotian video. Today we are in northern Laos, about to explore one of the most rural and fascinating places we visited during our 2 months in this wild and less known country. We're heading to the Xieng Khouang Province, a place rich of history but more sadly known for being one of the most heavily bombed provinces in the most bombed country in history, Laos. A long and rough journey in this broken minibus is ahead of us. But we are excited to discover more about the history of Laos and find out why it is the most heavily bombed country in the history of the world, and by who? Americans.
So we are on our way to Phonsavan, which is in the Xieng Khouang Province, which is famous to be the most bombed province in the world. Virtually the whole province has been completely bombed, the whole area has been bombed. Our journey, I have to say, this could be one of the most uncomfortable I've made so far. The journey is about 8 hours, but it's going to probably take a bit more. See, this is the van. There are 16 seats and we are 21. Indeed, I have to share my seat with this lovely guy, indeed. And it's pretty hot. There's a vent over there, and that's the only oxygen I get from from outside. The safety measures are standard, depending on what you mean by standard. You know. And the road is awful. Not only there are plenty of potholes. I wouldn't even call them potholes. They are literally like kind of holes, you know, like huge holes. And since we have to cross a mountainous area, basically the road is all curves. It's made of lots of curves. You can't even imagine. But at least the scenery is amazing. So let's see.
We finally arrived to Phonsavan, Phonsung, we don't know the name, but we will discover obviously because we're gonna spend here some time, because after this travel, that has been, I would say, the worst travel we have done so far in... Oh, we're trying to hitchhiking. No? Okay.
Hey.
Someone stopping? No. Okay, let's go. So, I was saying, this has been the worst travel we've done so far in Southeast Asia. 8 hours of hell. Everyone vomiting, no seat. I was not even sitting in a seat. I was sitting in a box of beer, turn it upside down with a cushion.
Right.
Okay. How do you...
Una ruota.
Okay. We made it. Oh my god. Okay. Yay! Oh no, it started to rain.
Okay, good morning. We are in Phonsavan, yeah, the capital of the Xieng Khouang Province, a well-known province in the southern part of northern Laos. A province which is famous mostly for 2 things. One, the UNESCO heritage site, the famous and mysterious site of the Plain of Jars. And secondly, because it's one of the most bombed places in the world. Now, besides these 2 things, this place is rich of history. And also, this makes me think that actually we know a lot about it because it became quite famous because of these 2 things. It was after the Plain of Jars. We know that there was a kingdom, a small principality that was relatively rich and was a vassal state of the famous Lansan kingdom, the Laotian kingdom. After that, it was invaded by the Thais, which invaded and destroyed it. and then after it in the 19th century it was looted and raided by Chinese rebels, and then after that the French came, imposed the protectorate over Laos, and this became a place of central importance for the trades in between Indochina. And then after that the Second World War, so the Japanese came, and then after the Japanese, the French came back, and there was a civil war between the French loyalists and the independentists. And then even after that there was another civil war between the royalists and those faithful to the king, and the others in the Pathet Lao, so the communist side. So, and then after that the place was heavily bombed by US, and despite the fact that Laos was a neutral country in order to fight the communist side without actively involving the army in this struggle. So first and second Indochina War. So this place went through a lot of suffering throughout its history, and we are going to learn more about it. And these are just few examples of what was dropped some 50 years ago in this province. Basically, there are unexploded bombs everywhere in Laos. So, yeah, I was looking at the bomb, you know, at the map. I mean.
Ah, this is the area with one unexploded bomb. Ah.
Yeah, the Ho Chi Minh Path.
Yeah. So the south of Laos, it was bombed because of the Ho Chi Minh Path.
Yeah.
Yes. And the northern part is because of the large area was controlled by the Pathet Lao.
The province of Xieng Khouang was controlled by the Pathet Lao, and so since the Vietnamese also were on this side, it was bombed by US to free unsuccessfully eventually. Yes. Eventually they didn't manage to reach their goal. Yes.
The Secret War in Laos, 1964-1973, was a hidden US military effort during the Vietnam War. The goal was to stop communists from spreading in Southeast Asia. The US supported the Royal Lao government and anti-communist group, while the Pathet Lao, a communist group backed by North Vietnam, tried to take control of Laos. One of the main reasons for the war was the Ho Chi Minh Trail, a supply route used by North Vietnamese forced to transport weapons and soldiers through Laos into South Vietnam. To block this route, the US launched a massive bombing campaign, dropping over 2 million tons of bomb on Laos. This made Laos the most bombed country in history, considering the number of bombs dropped per person. The war was called secret because the US kept it hidden from the public, and it wasn't widely discussed in Congress. The bombing destroyed large part of the country and left millions of unexploded bombs, which still cause accidents today.
These are pieces of bombs.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I don't know if these are like, you know, like when a bomb explodes, like
Yeah.
a piece of blonde that eventually would keep hurting.
Other bombs. In the end, US couldn't stop the communists, and the Pathet Lao took control of Laos in 1975, forming a communist government.
And I've read that of course, I mean, you're working constantly to demine the areas, and that just barely the 2% of the land has been freed, has been safe. The bombs have been safely removed by the land, but just a small percentage, right?
Yeah, if we would say, then we could say about not 2, just maybe 1. Yeah.
Not even 2%,
Yeah.
just 1%.
Yeah. If we compare to the number of the bomb that were dropped on the land area and the number that we have clear, the land area that we have clear, we could say that just very small percent.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so if you would like to clear all, maybe it will take many years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
read
but-
that at least 100 years
Yes,
to.
but it's quite hard to say how many years,
Of course,
because
of course.
it's depend on how many more budget that we will have in the future, how many more teams that we will have in the future, or how many projects do we have in the future.
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
but hope is over one day.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yes.
Okay, so here we are in front of the communal hall. Say that in Pont Savan, this city was completely built from nowhere in the late 70s, because the old capital, Xieng Khouang, nowadays known as, was completely destroyed during the air raid, right? And that's why nowadays, this is the main center of this province.
So we are on our way to the old capital. 45 minutes drive from Pont Savan. But obviously, we had to cross this street and we thought it was impossible, but I see a local now just doing it. I mean, these street conditions are pretty bad. As every street in Laos. Oh my. I don't know, Ja, I stay here and you go by yourself. And I walk. Hmm? I walk, yeah, that's for sure. What? It doesn't work? Oh. I assure you. Oh! Okay, first step done it. I'm sure we're gonna find more of this street because it's 45 minutes drive, so I'm always more surprised. Look at that. I mean, what's happening here?
Hi, we are in Xieng Khouang is the number 3. Xieng Khouang, nowadays a small city 35 kilometers south to Pont Savan, and was the former capital of the small kingdom, the Xieng Khouang kingdom, which was a prosperous kingdom between the 14th and the 18th centuries. But unfortunately nowadays not much is left of the opulence and the wealth of this prosperous small kingdom, because during the Second Indochina War, so between 1964 and 1975, it suffered a heavy raid by the US Air Force, and the city was virtually all destroyed. Then not much is left about the 62 stupas that were here. But still, we are here to explore it a bit and see what's left about this pearl of the past. Okay, so this is just one of the few stupas that remain nowadays, maybe the most well preserved. And once there were as much as 62 stupas adorning in this area. Then the stupas, which actually sometimes are known also as chedi, but here in Laos they're called tet, are funerary monuments. So they were mausoleum technically. They were the ashes of an important person that were also stored inside with jewels and other precious items. And that's why throughout the history of this place, the rebels and invaders that came also were in search of the treasure that was stored inside the stupas. At the end of the 19th century, rebels coming from the north, from China, in particular they were known as the Hawks, Red Hawks or Black Hawks, were pushed southward by internal instability. And they are remembered to be particularly harsh rebels. They came, looted, devastated this area, and took as much as they could. In the meantime, so they destroyed the stupas and they stole the precious items that were stored inside. If this wasn't enough, as we know, during the Second Indochina War, so some 50-60 years ago, there were planes flying here on a daily basis, dropping bombs, and the whole city of Xieng Khouang was completely destroyed by these aerial raids.
What we got in here? So around this destroyed stupa, we have an amazing landscape, and we can hear the music from the people of the village as usual. I can come up. Of course I can. Why you have to go until there? I don't understand.
Because I want to show you the hole.
Okay. Definitely a better view from here.
Come here, because here, this is a hole.
Okay.
This is the hole that was dug by the rebels, by the Hawks, these invaders that came and looted this tomb. In order to steal the treasure inside, they dug a hole to take it off and to spoil this beautiful monument of its richness. Not only, but these stupas, the cheras, were also covered in gold and other precious gems, items, and decorated preciously. But of course, the historical events didn't leave much. See the holes. They look like, I don't know, I'm not sure, but they look like holes made by bullets, you know. This building dates back to the French era, when France occupied this area, and Laos was a protectorate of France. And this province, they built few structures, few buildings, like the post office, the police station, and other infrastructure actually that helped actually the trade and the connections from this remote area. But of course, I mean, all these infrastructure were built to exploit the resources and not really to bring advantages to the locals. After the Second World War, the French lost control of its old colonies. The Japanese invaded it, and then after the Second World War, France came back saying, "Hey, hello, we are back." The Laotians weren't happy about it, and this led to a war, and a civil war. They were the pro-independentists, those for the independence of Laos, and those who were on the side of the French. And this led to one of the many wars that this small city witnessed. And here, indeed, in 1953, this place was bombed and destroyed because of this war. Okay, so here we are in the Wat Piavat, which may not look impressive as many other places that we visited so far, but symbolically this is very important. Indeed, this is what remains of the former glory of this place. Nowadays, Mongkun was formerly known as Xieng Khouang, which was the capital of the Phang Kingdom, quite prosperous kingdom that developed in since even before, but around the 12th century. The Phuangs, these people that founded this kingdom, came here thousands of years ago, and probably they were those who built the jars. Now, this place became quite important thanks to the strategic position at the center of a prosperous trade route. But in the 14th century, it became a vassal of the Lansan kingdom, the Laotian kingdom, and this place indeed was built in the 60s of the 16th century. So when this area and the small principality of Phuang was becoming quite rich, was very famous and opulent. But unfortunately, then in the 18th century, the strong Burmese kingdom, Burma, nowadays is Myanmar, so the Bagan kingdom invaded Thailand, and particularly the Ayutthaya kingdom, which on its behalf invaded Laos and this place. Then, after that occasion, bandits in the 19th century came and looted, destroying again this place. Then the French arrived, but after the Second World War, during the First Indo-Chinese War, the French and their loyalists fought against the independentists, and this place was caught in the middle of the fight. That's why it was destroyed. But the locals managed to build it again 1 year later, and nobody would expect that another harsh war would affect harshly this place again. Indeed, during the Second Indo-Chinese War, the whole city was completely destroyed by the air raids of the Americans, and the temple was destroyed again. This is what's left of this long history of this old, prosperous kingdom.
A great dancer. Yes. Exhibition. We have not finished exploring this curious place. In the next video, we are going to visit the mysterious UNESCO World Heritage Site of the Plain of the Jar. One of the most incredible places we have ever seen, and definitely a rough one to reach.
On the right.
Yeah. Captain. See you in the next video.